Before we start the video off, I just want to give one real quick PSA. If you're an indie dev or any dev at all and you see this email right here on the screen right now, it's not me and it's someone impersonating me trying to get free keys to games or something because they're broke. To call this person broke might actually be like an insult to broke people actually. I'm also broke. I don't even think I'm the only person they're impersonating, but I've been getting a lot of DMs from devs sending me keys on Twitter, keys that I decline naturally, and now I'm getting a bunch of emails, so I really hope I can clear this up. Also, please go mass report the email for impersonation if you can. My one and only business email is in my channel description. If any other email contacts you, it's not me unless I personally state otherwise. And for the record, my name is not Kevin. Thank you. Bye. Action games are a very wide genre, obviously. What am I even saying? And with the release of Ninja Gaiden 4, character action games have been the center of discourse for a little minute. And naturally, this discourse spawned from the amazing Twitter app. Yeah, you know it's gonna be stupid, but forget that for a minute. This is the tweet. Action games should not have combos. Dumbest sentence in the world, right? Obviously, this is like beta, whatever. If it's serious, he's dumb because you like Ninja Gaiden games post NES, so you're a walking contradiction. And at first, this video was gonna be debunking that tweet, but that's super boring on its own, and who cares that much? So instead, let's talk about how character action games make me say,
"Aw shit. Aw shit.
Who is Duke?
Aw shit. D hot tamale, man, I think he lost it. I'm in that back coop, looking like a boss, bitch. With them chains on, wetter than a faucet. Aw shit.
If you've been tapped into my channel for a while, then you know that I'm a really big fan of player expression. And at this point, it might as well be the #1 thing I look for in certain genres. The freedom to be able to play a game the way you want and do what you want aids in immersion and helps push the boundaries of what a game or franchise could be as long as the execution and care is there. At times, they build on pre-existing genres so much to the point where it's hard to genre it in the first place. And when this happens more often than not, it produces some of the best games, or at least in my opinion. Usually games with a lot of mechanics that allow for player expression tend to be more complex due to how intricate things can get at times. And this applies to any game for that matter, whether the backbone is player expression or not, or the game is even considered character action. Like dog, it's hard to even remember that Kingdom Hearts 2 is an RPG first and foremost because of how the hack and slash elements just take it to a whole nother level. To say that these types of games should be a single thing or would lose their identity by adding specific mechanics is mostly disingenuous. While the genre character action is usually accompanied with a preconceived notion that the game is going to have intricate combo routes that are insanely flashy with high skill ceilings when you dive into the complexities of the system, if you look a little bit deeper than that and really analyze these games, it's much more complicated. NieR Automata, Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, The Wonderful 101, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Bayonetta, and even Vanquish. Some games from this list are more similar to others and some are drastically different in every way almost, but they all fall under the same umbrella. Can we get a Vanquish 2, by the way? So that begs the question, what really makes a character action game a character action game? Well, I mean, I don't know, but I'll try to give you my definition of it. #1, a really cool character, sometimes. #2, a decently in-depth combo system with very open-ended mechanics. #3, freedom in how you apply those mechanics. #4, an air launcher, maybe. And #5, finesse. It's impossible to go by level design because of how often it differs. Take a game like DMC3. Still wearing its Resident Evil DNA on its sleeve, it's made in a way that's very camera angle specific. It plays a huge part in how the secrets are scattered, enemy placement, and moment-to-moment gameplay. You have whole areas that are vertical crawls, spread out rooms for waves of enemies, and whatever this is. Then take a game like NieR Automata. It's much more open with entire sections for free roam. There's definitely sections that mess with the camera, but it's implemented in a different way entirely. You can go from 2D sections to top down, then back to the regular. They also differ in mission structure. Between story beats, NieR offers side missions reminiscent to the ones you'd see in your typical action RPG. Whereas Devil May Cry takes the classic approach of going from mission to mission, and any side missions will probably just be little secrets you find that are bonus challenge missions that you can go into. Not only that, but the entire method of game progression is different in every way, down to the way you increase your character's strength. This is how we know that this genre is more of a spectrum. within an even bigger spectrum. And then you factor in how most of these games all have hack and slash elements, and that adds another layer on top of that. But before we get into how these games vary in actual gameplay, we have to establish that there's no set of rules to follow in the scope of character action. In fact, I'd argue that the only rule to follow is to throw away as many rules and restrictions to what the genre can be aside as far as possible away from it. For the sake of action, of course. I mean, the name character action implies that it's player expression incarnate. The character in the game represents the player themselves as a whole, no matter what playstyle they lean towards. And action represents the player or character expressing themselves in gameplay. The more freedom tailored to the player's desires, the better. Rather than the player playing around the game's restrictions, the game is built to mold around the player and leave gameplay open-ended for creativity within its mechanics and allow players to play the game in a way that can even reflect themselves at times. It's like when you pick up a fighting game character and you lean towards a specific archetype, except the game is really the archetype. It's a genre meant to be ever-changing, both in influences and difficulty. The entire point is that you're the point. I mean, the game suggests strings to get you started, but for anything super flashy or reflecting the core of the game itself, then you're going to have to build it. And it's especially apparent in NieR, DMC, and Ninja Gaiden for that matter. And that act of piecing together the combat is partially what I found so interesting about playing Ninja Gaiden 4, because when I initially got on the game, I tried to play it like Ninja Gaiden 2, but as I got more familiar with how Platinum structured air combos, it ended up feeling like a blend of multiple different things, but all of it was imbued with the DNA of Ninja Gaiden. And although rough around the edges in some parts, it actually ended up feeling pretty fluid. I mean, I can understand how this would put fans of the classic games off, but I just thought it was such an interesting take on the formula that I really couldn't get mad at it. And I have to commend Platinum for making the weight and mobility feel just like a standard Ninja Gaiden game. Because what character action games were before and what they are now are drastically different. In the past, there are more noticeable trends between games that would immediately indicate that it was character action, or at least in the same vein. Like for example, Ninja Gaiden and God of War 3, you raise your max HP and MP equivalent pretty much the same exact way. Chest. Item. Collect 3 more to raise maximum vitality. And the same goes for Devil May Cry as well when it comes to getting new abilities or expanding your moveset. You just get points and unlock whatever ability that becomes available. And while this system is still in certain long-running series, for new entries, sometimes it's different entirely. Specifically NieR. And it's really easy to break down if we do a simple compare and contrast. So yeah, let's get to it. NieR Automata. And to make a fair comparison, this time instead of comparing NieR to DMC 3, we can actually use 5. I wanted to at least respect the fact that since Devil May Cry 3 came out a decade before NieR Automata, a lot of the mechanics NieR has may have been out of the scope of what developers thought was possible back then. We can use Devil May Cry 3 as a comparison for level design because at the end of the day, you can still see some of the DNA from DMC 3 in DMC 5 as far as level design, but when it comes to combat, you know, we gotta even things out. Plus, DMC 5 only came out 2 years after Automata. I feel like there's a fair time span, but now that that's out of the way, let's even the playing field even further. When it comes to Devil May Cry 5, the way characters vary is pretty drastic to say the least. You have characters that are decently basic for the most part in what they do, characters that are easy to pick up but can get extremely complex as you dig deeper into their kits, and characters that require mind expansion to get the most out of playing them. Using Nero would be unfair due to his gimmicks with his arms and engine blade. Using V would be unfair because he mainly just controls minions the entire time. And using Dante is just ridiculous. You have too many weapons that do entirely different things with different specials, and on top of that, 4 different styles that each change the things you're able to do with said weapon. And 2 transformations that also change your moves. You get the point. So, my point of comparison will be Virgil. He's very broken, but ironically, he feels the most grounded, at least gimmick-wise. And he shares similar things in his kit to 2B, but without going overboard with it and being able to do literally everything like Dante. I feel like he's the perfect character to use to really show the core of how Devil May Cry approaches combat. And with Dante, I feel like he's a perfect example of the extremes of it. Now, first things first. Combos. At the basic level at least. I'm talking about the button combinations the game gives you on the move list, because to see how each game opens up, you have to understand the systems they're built on. When it comes to Devil May Cry, we get pretty clear-cut examples, and when it comes to NieR, We get none. In fact, it doesn't really give you much info or indication at all regarding how combos work, and there are certain moves that you have to find by accident, by experimenting, or just outright looking it up. In Devil May Cry's case, it gives you puzzle pieces to work with in putting together your bigger combos, and explicitly tells you how to execute certain moves, so working on combo theory isn't very hard at all. But when it comes to NieR, it requires a lot of brain power, or at least a lot more effort than you'd usually put in. So in a sense, this would isolate NieR even further from games like Ninja Gaiden, DMC, or Metal Gear Rising. NieR is a giant knowledge check when it comes to doing anything even remotely intricate in combat, but at the basic level, you essentially have your light combo string, your heavy string, and naturally you can mix them to get different enders, but nothing as crazy as you think. You have the pod, which is pretty much your ranged attack option. You can change the primary fire of it, and it also has super moves. You have this really cool dash-like evade, and if you time it right, you can perfectly evade and counter an enemy. Your counter attack varies between you attacking with light, heavy, or the pod. And that's pretty much it for the most part. Obviously, very different methods of approach between the games initially, but even at this level, there's still a decent amount of similarities to be found between them. Virgil has a ranged option, light and medium attacks, and specials. Genre-wise, this isn't really where the two games break between their two systems. This is where they break. Devil May Cry is a game specifically made to allow for flashy combo routes, alternated between weapons, canceling in and out of your transformations, the list goes on. You don't have to break the game or use niche tech to pull off anything above the surface level. You just have to get good, of course. Honestly, the most that I can say is that it's execution heavy, but even then, that's mainly on Dante. Then if we look at NieR and see what makes it so complex, we immediately pretty much have to start self-destruction canceling, learning some combo tech, secret routes, secret attacks. Even petting the pod is a secret input. Devil May Cry leans to directional inputs being the main way you get different moves out, and NieR doesn't really do that at all. You have to workshop nearly everything in the game. The combat only becomes free flow when you have more or less a good amount of things down in your muscle memory. Because realistically, nobody wants to sit there and evade counter constantly to get anything done. Self-destruct canceling is one of the bread and butters of high-level NieR combat, and so are evade cancels. There's pod exclusive moves that you can chain together on top of that as well, and they all have their own methods of canceling. And this is all before factoring in the insane amount of mod chips you can equip in NieR to open up the combat even more. If you equip your heavy weapon over the light weapon and your light weapon over the heavy slot, it also changes your routing for both weapons, meaning you have to learn the unique timing for those routes as well. There's setups you can do with certain specials, unique tech for other characters. The layers stack on, and if you didn't dive into the game's mechanics, you would never know. And that's not to say DMC is less complex in comparison, because it's not. But there's a big difference in nearly every facet of the game. Like I said before, there were clear-cut things in the past that would make a game definitely character action, whether it be the method of attaining skills, increasing your natural attributes, or gaining new weapons and cycling between them, but later on, games started completely breaking all these initial standards almost seamlessly. If character action games are a natural evolution of hack and slash games, then the evolution of character action would just be character action plus. I mean, it's hard to give it an entirely new name when it's hard to say what it is definitively in the first place. It's literally whatever you want it to be, as long as the focus is heavy action. And I guess even then, it doesn't even necessarily need to be the focus. It just has to be kind of the core of what the game is built on. If I'm playing your game and at any point I'm like, oh my god, this is combat straight out of the cutscene, then yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not talking like it being automated. I'm talking like Cage 3, Xehanort final boss, we're going keyblade for keyblade in the air. Or like I'm playing Bayonetta and she starts dancing mid-stream. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Or like DMC 5, where I can literally use a taunt to extend my combo. I mean, even Web of Shadows is a perfect example for that matter. I can launch you off the wall, swing kick you, launch you back up, grab you, throw you back to the wall, web zip towards you, combo you, while I'm swapping in between the black suit and pretty much just kill you right there. There's not many other genres or subgenres out there that really give you the experience of like, yeah, I'm doing something this character can most definitely do in lore. At least to the utmost extreme of what the character can do. Covered every single basis, level design, combat, game progression, mechanics, even how you interact with the environment. So let's say it definitively. What is a character action game? Dude, they're just hack and slash games, just more in-depth ones. That's literally it. You can find player expression in any genre. It just depends on the developer. It's not unique to this one at all. Plus, the name character action is so case by case with the game and depending on the person. Like, some people would consider Final Fantasy 15 a character action game. Some people don't. Some people consider NieR strictly an action RPG with hack and slash elements. and not a character action game, even though you can't really be character action without being a hack and slash game. So if you're hack and slash, you can more or less just be considered character action by default because they're synonymous with each other. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. If you think Kingdom Hearts 2 is a character action game, you're perfectly fine. As long as you know what makes up the genre, you can explain it and they really can't prove you wrong. You guys didn't think this was like the big video that took me a month to make, right? This is just a filler vid. I mean, look at the topic. This doesn't take me that long to explain, if you want me to be honest. This wouldn't even be worth like a video over 20 minutes. Plus, look at the video length. Like, this would take me a week to make. After all, I'm uploading it on a Friday. When have I ever hit the Friday deadline a day in my life? This one was just to hold you guys over. This is nothing. This is just a normal vid. Because no. I have plans. I have plans. A month-long wait for just 10 minutes? Did you think that I was that cruel? No. But hey, look at the bright side. At least you know what character action games are now, right? See you next time. Official Canon Core Discord server. Link in the description, as always. And yeah, just play the outro. I don't have anything else to say.
Up in here with my tool, they gon' find you in the ditch, yeah. Straight for high rule, you not from it, you a glitch, yeah. Man of my rules, running with the misfits, yeah. Do not misclick, that's gon' get you hit quick, yeah. Death on death, it's God, ain't no variation, it's Lord,